Hey everybody, Juan Ortega here, your South Florida business coach. My purpose is to work with business owners each and every day to help them transform their lives and their businesses to what they've always desired. Now I have a question for you today. Would you like to know the top 3 areas where I find most businesses have a ton of hidden profit? That's precisely what I'm going to share with you today. The reason that I decided to put this video together is because I see most business owners banging their head day in and day out trying to figure out marketing and trying to get that phone to ring. Most people believe that if my phone just rang more, all my problems would be solved. The reality with that is that it's not true, because if all of a sudden I flipped a switch and your phone started ringing off the hook, what would that do to your business? What would that do to your stress level and your level of performance? Probably not a lot of good things. For you to take care of that much new business coming in, you really need 2 things. You need more time and you need more resources to get it done. And the reality is that most business owners don't have a lot of time or resources waiting to get used on something. So what I prefer is to work on the sweet spot of a business, because the sweet spot doesn't require that you invest a whole lot more in terms of time or money, but yet there's huge potential. So let's get started with the sweet spot. The first area is the conversion percentage, or the conversion rate. Now this simply means how many leads do you convert into paying customers of all of the leads that actually come into your business. When I ask most people, they say, well, it's probably 90 or 100%. Once we start testing and measuring, we realize that it's probably a lot less than that. And so the first thing that I would have you do is to figure out exactly what the conversion rate is in your business. What we're talking about really is getting better at sales. Sales and the sales process that we have in our companies, our sales ability and the sales ability of our staff. See, most people learned how to sell 10, 15, 20 years ago, and they've been using the same process for all this time. The reality is that sales and the way that people buy, the psychology with selling and buying has changed quite a bit. If you're still selling the same way that you were 5 to 10 years ago, it's completely outdated. You need to constantly be reading books, listening to audio tapes, or watching videos, and learning new strategies and ways to sell, because people are certainly buying in a different manner. So how do we get better at sales? Well, it really boils down to the level of training that not only we get, but the level of training that we provide to our staff. Most people, when they're hiring salespeople, what they do is they look for resumes that talk about having 150 years of experience, but the reality is that we don't really know what kind of experience that is. We don't know if the training that they've had is good or bad. So the ideal scenario is where we hire somebody and we provide our own sales training to them. That way we can control the quality, the level, precisely what's said, what happens, how things are presented. That's the ideal way. Essentially what we're talking about is creating systems, having a system or a methodology to converting your prospects into paying customers. The second area that makes up the sweet spot is the number of transactions. And now what we're really talking about here is taking advantage of what is most valuable in your business, and that's your database. Now, if you're not keeping a database, I would strongly urge you that you begin putting together a database today. But if you do, then what you want to make sure is that you're constantly going back to people who have done business with you at one point or a time and inviting them back. How often do you talk to them, communicate to your past customers, let them know what's new or innovative or exciting in your business? See, what we're talking about here is increasing the frequency in which people buy from you. Now, it doesn't matter if you're a restaurant and people visit your business once a week, or you sell real estate or cars or insurance, and it might be an annual thing. You want to know what the frequency is. You want to start improving that and getting them just to come back a little bit more. The next part to that is the referrals. Now, think of how many referrals you've gotten in your business in the last 30, 60, or 90 days. If you're not happy with that number, if you'd like to get more referrals from your existing customers, simply ask yourself, what am I doing to encourage referrals? What's my referral program? Or what's in it for them? If you're not asking for them and you're not giving people a reason to send you referrals, then you're simply leaving it up to chance. The way that you improve both of these areas is really by having strategies in place. In other words, think things through and understand exactly what you're communicating to your existing customers in your database, and thinking through as to why should people send me referrals? What's in it for them? So having 2 to 3 strategies all the time, testing and measuring and seeing what works best. The third area of the sweet spot is the average dollar sale. Now this is key in your business and any business, and what we're really talking about here is the amount of money that people spend when they come to do business with you. Now I realize that some may spend a little, some may spend a lot. What you want to do is you want to average those two numbers out, and you want to figure out on average per transaction how much are people spending in your business. Once you get to the point where you understand what that number is, you can begin to put some strategies in place to grow it. Now, the three best strategies that I know, and the quickest way to get your average dollar sale to go up, well, number one is increase your prices. And if you're afraid to increase your prices because you're not going to be competitive or you're going to lose customers, email me on that because I have a whole separate thing that I do on increasing prices. But increase your prices. Second thing that you can do is you can implement a strategy for upselling, cross-selling, or downselling. Upselling is the classic getting people to buy the next level up. So if you're shopping for a car and you go there thinking you're going to spend X amount and the salesperson is able to talk you into getting either more features or the next model up and spending a whole lot more, that's the classic upsell. The cross-sell is really about selling other items or services that complement what they're already buying. And the best example probably on earth is McDonald's with the would you like fries with that, which they implemented back in the 80s. Once they did that, that represented millions of dollars for them annually. And so I urge you and ask you to figure out what the fries are in your business. You know, whatever product or service you provide, you need to figure out what other product or service complements that, and people are looking. A great example of that is these home improvement stores. If you go in to buy paint and they know that you're buying paint, they're most likely going to recommend a few items that complement the paint, meaning paintbrushes or tape. Now the really good stores, what they do is they give you a list and they say, here, have this list so that you make sure that you don't forget anything. Well, the interesting thing about that is that there's about 25 things on that list, and you walk out of there with a lot more items than you ever thought you were going to buy because you're afraid of running out and not having these things when you get back at home. Very powerful, very effective. You need to figure that out in your business. So this is exactly what the sweet spot is. It's kind of the middle of the business. It's basically the area of business where you don't have to be a marketing genius or an advertising genius. It's about not chasing the next new customer, but taking care of the existing ones, getting them to come by and do more business with you more frequently, spend more money, provide great service, great product, getting them to send you referrals and send people your way, and really, before you do any of that, making sure that you and your staff are really good at sales and you're converting as many leads as possible, because what good is it to go out and do marketing if you're not converting 100%? What good is it to invite your customers to come back if you're going to just waste that opportunity because you can't convert them? So all of these three areas are integral and very, very important to your business. So you want to make sure that you understand them, you have baseline numbers so you know what they are, and start implementing at least three strategies in each. Listen, business can be difficult, it can be frustrating, and most of the times it can be very lonely. As an entrepreneur or business owner, you know that most of the time you're having to figure things out on your own. It doesn't have to be that difficult. If you like this and you'd like to learn more, but maybe you don't even know where to begin, just reply back to the email that you got from me, and I'd be happy to sit down and look at the sweet spot in your business and start looking at what strategies we can put in place. I got over 360 strategies that we can apply. You figure out which ones work best, and let's schedule that complimentary diagnostic and sit together and learn more about your business. There's also a live event coming up on February 21st. If you'd like to learn about these three areas and 8 other areas that we're going to talk about business, just click on the link below. It's got all the details to the event. February 21st. I'd love to see you there, talk about business, and discuss ways that we can continue to grow together. I thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed learning about the sweet spot, and I'll see you at the next video.